Have you ever wondered what farming will look like 10 or 20 years from now? The tractors might sound different, the fuel tanks might smell different, and the fertilizer might come from your own land instead of halfway across the world. What's changing isn't just technology and its power, literal power. For the first time in history, farmers can produce their own energy, their own fertilizer, and even sell excess clean fuel to their neighbors. The tool that makes all this possible is green hydrogen, and the people best positioned to make it work aren't corporations or governments. It's you. Farmers, co-ops, rural innovators. Now, I know hydrogen might sound like something that belongs in a science lab or a refinery, but I want to show you how it's becoming the next big thing on farms, the way solar panels were 10 years ago. And more importantly, how you can develop your own hydrogen project from scratch, starting small, step by step, using resources available right now at H2 Hub. reneenergy.com. So let's begin this journey. From farmer to hydrogen developer. Imagine this. You walk outside one morning and instead of hearing the hum of a diesel generator or watching fertilizer trucks roll in from the city, you hear the quiet whir of a solar inverter. Next to your grain bins or orchards stands a small modular unit. A few containers housing equipment that turns sunlight and water into hydrogen. That hydrogen feeds a compact ammonia plant that makes fertilizer for your crops. No imports, no price spikes, no delays, just independence. It's not a fantasy. Farmers in places like Kenya, Denmark, Germany, and Iowa are already doing it. They've realized that green hydrogen isn't just a buzzword. It's a tool for survival. Because when you depend on fossil fuels or imported fertilizer, you're at the mercy of global markets. When you generate your own hydrogen, you take control of your supply, your costs, and your future. Now, let's talk about why farmers are uniquely suited to lead this revolution. Think about what you already do. You manage land, weather, water, machinery, and cash flow. You understand efficiency, seasonality, and yield. A hydrogen project is just another kind of farming. Only instead of growing corn or coffee, you're growing molecules. The sun is your energy crop, water is your irrigation, and the harvest is hydrogen and ammonia. So how does it actually work? At its core, green hydrogen is produced through a process called electrolysis, passing electricity from solar panels or wind turbines through water to split it into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen can then be used directly as a fuel, converted into green ammonia for fertilizer, or stored for electricity generation later. The beauty is that it produces no carbon emissions, just clean energy. Let's walk through what this means for your farm in practical terms. Suppose you have a small solar field, maybe 2 or 3 megawatts in size. That's enough to power an electrolyzer capable of producing about 1 ton of ammonia per day, enough to cover several hundred hectares of fertilizer needs. You can use what you make and sell the surplus. The equipment sits in modular containers, small, quiet, and easy to maintain. The only inputs are water, air, and sunlight. But how do you go from an idea to an actual project? That's where most people get stuck. And that's exactly why we built H2 Hub, reneenergy.com, to walk you through every stage, from idea to operation. Let's go step by step. Step 1, define your purpose. Are you producing fertilizer for your own fields? Fuel for your equipment? Power for your community? Maybe all three? Defining your goal shapes everything that follows. Your equipment, your financing, and your partnerships. Step 2, assess your resources. Look at your land, sunlight, wind, and water. Do you have access to a reliable well or surface water? How many sunshine hours do you get per year? What's the local grid like? H2 Hub's feasibility templates let you plug in those details to instantly estimate how much hydrogen or ammonia your site could produce and what it might cost. Step 3, size your system. For fertilizer production, we typically start with about 1 ton of ammonia per day, which requires around 10 to 12 megawatt hours of electricity daily. In sunny regions, that means 2 to 3 megawatts of solar capacity. If you're focusing on fuel or electricity, you can scale smaller. Even 100 kilograms of hydrogen per day is enough to power tractors, irrigation pumps, or backup generators. Step 4, build your economics. This is where the modeling comes in. You'll input your power costs, equipment prices, and utilization rates into H2 Hub's levelized cost of hydrogen (LCOH) model. It automatically calculates your cost per kilogram of hydrogen or per ton of ammonia, compares it with conventional prices, and even runs sensitivity analysis so you can see how electricity or interest rates affect profitability. Step 5. Secure your buyers. Every project needs an off-taker, a guaranteed buyer for what you produce. In your case, that might be yourself, your co-op, or a local logistics fleet. Even a simple letter of intent that says you'll purchase a minimum amount of hydrogen or fertilizer over several years can help attract financing. Step 6. Permits and safety. Hydrogen and ammonia are both well-understood chemicals. Small-scale systems can be operated safely with standard protocols: leak detectors, ventilation, and buffer zones. On H2 Hub, you'll find templates for environmental and safety reports that satisfy regulators and insurers alike. Step 7. Financing. This is where most people think the road ends. But in reality, it's where the fun begins. There are several ways to finance a farm-scale hydrogen project. Let's go through them one by one. First, you have cooperative financing. This is how rural electrification started decades ago. Farmers pooled resources, invested small amounts, and shared the benefits. A hydrogen cooperative can do the same. Member equity covers part of the cost, while a local bank provides the rest as debt. Second, developer-owned projects. A clean energy developer builds and operates the system on your land, and you simply buy the fertilizer or hydrogen at a fixed rate. Fertilizer as a service. You get price stability without the upfront capital. Third, equipment leasing. Just like leasing a tractor, you can lease electrolyzers or ammonia modules. Vendors are beginning to offer 5 to 7 year leases with maintenance included. Fourth, blended finance. If you're in Africa, Asia, or Latin America, there are climate funds and development banks that offer concessional loans and grants for rural hydrogen projects. Pair that with local investment, and you can reach bankability faster. And finally, green bonds and carbon credits. For larger cooperatives or clusters, issuing a small private green bond or monetizing carbon savings can attract institutional capital. Investors love projects that are profitable and climate positive. At h2hub.reneenergy.com, you'll find capital stack templates that show you how to combine all these sources, grants, equity, and debt, into a single workable financing plan. Step 8. Construction and operation. Once the financing is secured, your engineering team, often called an EPC or engineering, procurement, and construction firm, takes over. They'll build the plant, test the equipment, and train your team. You'll monitor operations remotely with smart dashboards that track production, energy use, and safety. The entire system fits inside a few containers. In less time than it takes to build a new barn, you could have a working hydrogen plant. And then you start producing. That's when it gets real. You're making fertilizer for your own crops, maybe fueling your trucks, maybe selling clean hydrogen to local businesses. Each kilogram of hydrogen or ton of ammonia you make replaces imported fossil fuel and keeps value inside your community. Let's talk about profitability for a moment. For many regions, imported ammonia costs around $800 to $1,000 per ton. A local small-scale green ammonia plant can produce it for roughly $600 to $800 per ton, depending on solar prices and utilization. In other words, even small systems can compete, and with future incentives, they'll win outright. The payback period can range from 5 to 8 years, with lifespans of 15 to 20. And think about what that means for your farm or your co-op. Stable input costs, local jobs, cleaner air, independence. Now, if you're wondering how to start small without getting overwhelmed, here's a roadmap we teach inside H2 Hub. In the first 2 weeks, define your project, your goal, your land, your product. Over the next month, gather your solar and water data and use the H2 Hub feasibility model to check your numbers. Then, in the following month, reach out to potential buyers, maybe your own cooperative or local distributors, and secure an offtake letter. By month 3, you can have a preliminary design, cost model, and financing plan ready to share with lenders. In 3 months, you'll have something tangible, a project you can pitch. And remember, you don't need a team of engineers to start. The platform gives you templates for everything: site assessments, offtake LOIs, capital stack memos, EPC scopes, and risk registers. It's designed to be farmer-friendly and practical. But there's another layer to this story: the community aspect. Hydrogen projects work best when farmers collaborate. Picture a local hydrogen hub, a shared facility producing fuel, fertilizer, and electricity for a cluster of farms. Each member owns a share, and the cooperative reinvests profits in new modules. The hydrogen might power tractors, while the byproduct oxygen could supply aquaculture or greenhouses. This is how rural regions become energy exporters. Think about it. Rural communities have sunlight, land, and the will to adapt. Hydrogen turns those into wealth. It decentralizes power, literally and economically. Now, here's where we tie it all together. You've seen the steps, you've seen the possibilities. But what matters most is starting, taking the first action. Because the hydrogen opportunity won't stay theoretical forever. Prices are dropping, policy support is rising, and the world is looking for pioneers. And there's no better place to pioneer than in the countryside, where resourcefulness has always been part of life. So here's your challenge. Treat hydrogen like a new crop. Learn its behavior, calculate its yield, and plan your harvest. The same mindset that helps you grow food can help you grow energy. At h2hub.reneenergy.com, you'll find a full roadmap to guide you, from beginner training to detailed financial modeling. You'll learn how to size your electrolyzer, estimate water needs, run risk analysis, and prepare documents that banks and investors understand. You'll have access to templates for business plans, offtake agreements, and even grant applications. You'll also learn how to navigate the global hydrogen ecosystem, how to apply for incentives like the 45V tax credit in the US, or green hydrogen funding in Europe, or development bank grants in emerging markets. Whether you're a smallholder farmer, a cooperative manager, or an agri-tech investor, the platform gives you the tools to act now, not years from now. Because in this new energy landscape, waiting for someone else to bring hydrogen to your region is like waiting for rain in a drought. The tools exist. The knowledge exists. The technology is ready. All that's missing is you. So let's start this journey together. Let's turn fields into powerhouses, co-ops into energy hubs, and farmers into clean energy entrepreneurs. Visit https://i2hub.reneenergy.com today and explore the course Developing and Financing Green Hydrogen Projects. Inside, you'll find real case studies, feasibility templates, and project finance models tailored for the agricultural world. When you sign up, you're not just taking a course, you're joining a movement. A global network of farmers, developers, and innovators building the foundation for sustainable energy independence. The next time you look out over your land, imagine this. Not just rows of crops, but solar panels glinting in the sun, powering a small facility that produces your own hydrogen. Imagine knowing that every drop of water, every ray of sunlight, and every molecule of air is part of your farm's energy cycle. Imagine your farm not waiting on the energy transition, but leading it. That's the future we're building at Renee Energy, and it starts with you. So go ahead, take that first step. Visit https://h2hub.reneenergy.com. Explore the free materials, try the tools, and begin your green hydrogen journey. Because the farms that master hydrogen today will power the world tomorrow.